start with Ashley and work our way to Julia. And I just would like to hear you guys talk a little bit about the growth of your characters through the course of the film, and what was it like, you know, to portray that and have an opportunity to portray that, I guess.
For me, it was, I mean, it's always been really fun playing Alice. You know, you get to go to work every day and just be super perky and happy all the time. But the nice part with Alice, I think, is that, you know, there was, throughout the course of the whole saga, there were opportunities to see her really defend her family and to see kind of, you know, a fierceness and a dangerous side of her that you didn't necessarily see in the first film. And in Breaking Dawn, you know, I think you kind of get to see Alice at her peak and at her height. She's planning a wedding and she's elated and beyond herself. But then, kind of on the extreme opposite, you get to see her really fight for her family, and she got to go to kind of darker places that you haven't really seen her go to before.
It's my turn. Well, unlike Alice, Rosalie's not super happy and perky all the time. So it was nice to not play that for 5 minutes. It was nice to smile on set once or twice. I think this journey has been, you know, watching Rosalie sort of unfold throughout the years, and working with Bill really closely, I think, to find, you know, the comedy in this and the humor and some lighter moments. For Rosalie, it was nice, and I sort of experienced an eclipse that the audience was laughing a lot of the time when I was on screen, which is actually amazing, and so we kind of went with that, and Bella and Rosalie get to have something really special in this and connect over, you know, the love for this other thing, and it sort of it becomes greater than all the other little petty issues.
For me, I really enjoyed working with all the international vampires. I thought that was really fun. We had a full house at one point. And I think what I really enjoyed about Breaking Dawn was seeing Esme become more of the matriarch that I tend to. She was a stronger version of the character than I think we'd seen, and I found that to be a more honest version of the character, in my opinion, because every mother that I've ever known, they're like the fiercest person in the family. And so I found that was really fun and more challenging time for me to explore that, especially because everything was at stake for our characters, and we were in a much more vulnerable position as a family. So Esme really has to step up.
That Leah in Eclipse is just always very, very angry, and to say the least. And in Breaking Dawn, I think she kind of makes a decision. Part of growing up for her is deciding to do something that makes her happy, that makes her care, like capable of caring again. And I think Jacob gives her that opportunity, and it like opens her heart. So all of a sudden, instead of being angry, there's a lot of feeling and passion and other things that she gets to experience. And for me, that was such a relief, first of all. And also, it was, you know, I kind of felt better about leaving her in that state than in Eclipse.
That's nice. Thank you, thank you. All right, we'll go back to the questions here.
Hi everyone, question to Bill. I'm from Brazil, so I have to ask you that. Did you have the opportunity to watch Brazilian cinema while you were there? And I would like to ask you to say a few words about your interest in horror as a genre.
Sure, yeah. Well, first of all, we had a tight schedule, but one great thing is that we were there right when the film festival was starting in Rio. So I got to hang out with some Brazilian filmmakers, you know. And also we had some really great people on our crew. That we managed to pick up for 6 weeks. So I got a taste of that incredibly lively, film scene down there. And as for horror, yeah, it's something I've always, growing up, Hitchcock, horror, suspense, it's always been an interest to me. To me, it's like, pure movies, you know, because it's a combination of images and sound and music that create a feeling of, creating that feeling of tension, I think is the most exciting thing. And again, in this movie, I think you'll see, I think Kristen was describing it a little bit, but it's not just a childbirth, it's that plus the wolf attack. Everything's like coming at you at all sides in the last 30 minutes of this movie, and I think it's a really intense ride.
Hi, I'd like to thank everybody for taking time out of their day to come down and talk to all of us and get questions answered. It's really cool that you guys did that. Also, my question would be for the director, what tools and things did you use, and even for the cast, to make the movie more like the book, since the book is so intense? What did you use, and what were your ideas and inspirations for getting the movie to be like the book?
Having Stephanie Meyer there, true. You know, I mean, that was part of it, you know, and I have to say Kristen was a great, she knows these books so well. She is the biggest fan of these books that you'll ever meet, you know. So it was, I tell you, we would both, I think we both come, you know, we had a pretty long process for us where we rehearsed, we talked through, for a week we just sat around and just talked through the script, talked through everything. There are things that were put back based on things that people had missed, and especially you know. And then we blocked the scenes and put it on TV. But then on the day of shooting, we both had spent that night before looking at it again, you know, and just sort of like making sure we were capturing, especially, you know, the books are told from Bella's point of view, you know? So it's like that thing of getting inside her head, except for the part that's from Jacob's point of view, and for the first time only in Breaking Dawn. But it was like, it really, I think we were like, that was our mission, kind of, right?
Yeah, no, just to know, I mean, to know it inside and out, because ultimately you should be able to sort of let moments live. If you're thinking about 1 second about a scene that is supposed to just sort of fly by naturally, and you know, it's making you nervous to the point where you're like, you know, rehearsing for weeks and looking at it the night before, and you know, all of that building up, it's hard to forget that, and he makes it pretty easy, as do all these folks. But yeah, no, it's pretty important to go over it, I think.
Thank you.
Hi, my question's for Taylor. First off, I love you. I was just wondering, because my question was just answered about coming from your point of view, what is that going to be such a main focus in the book, and in the movie, and being so in your mind? How do you feel about that?
It's a lot of pressure, because there's some great stuff going on down in Brazil. It's really interesting to see, you know, just moments, tidbits, you know, from Jacob's point of view and what he's dealing with. You know, like I said, he matures so much, so it's really interesting to see how he handles situations at the beginning of the film and how he handles them at the end.
Also, to step out of Bella's point of view at that point in the movie is really quite perfect, because she is very withdrawn from everyone in the whole story, and you kind of don't really know what's going on with her, which I think is good. She's sort of, like I said, like sitting in the corner, just being like, pull everyone away, and I'm not even going to explain myself to you. And so it's cool not to really know exactly what's going on with her, because then you wonder how Edward is feeling about everything, and you know, because they're at odds for the first time, and you don't think they're going to like break up or anything, but they're definitely at odds. And, yeah.
Thank you. Love you too.
Hi, my question is for Nikki, but anyone else can answer. Now that filming is over, what will you miss most about being on set and working together, and how do you plan on staying in touch?
It's funny that that's just to me. It should be for everyone.
We should have everyone answer it. Why don't you start though, Nikki?
Sorry, it's cut off. I guess I'll miss. We had some really special moments, actually. That's like the most genuine answer. All of us, individually, we've had some really good moments together, and I think I'll miss that feeling of like, you know, being a part of the community, and feeling like when you're away. I mean, I've done some other movies, and it can be a very lonely experience. But one thing I've realized with this series is that no matter who's dealing with what issue or where there's always someone to be with. And in terms of keeping in touch, you know, I don't know what the future holds for all of us. I would love to say it's going to be like a fairy tale ending and we'll all have dinners once a week. Probably not gonna, you know, but there's definitely a love there and things that have happened that will live on forever. And some of us will stay in touch, and some probably won't. But you know, it's been a really great thing, I think, for all of us to create these kinds of friendships. Yeah.
Ashley, you wanna? Ashley, what are we gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, I think Nikki pretty much summed it up. It's definitely thanks. Yeah, we've kind of all in a sense become a family, and it was nice being able to personally and as an actor learn and grow with these people, and to have someone to relate to, and to have someone who's going through the same circumstances that you are, and just to be able to show up on set every day and just kind of not really necessarily feel like it's work, but you know, you just kind of go and you hang out and you see the same people that you've been working with for years, and that was kind of comfortable and really nice. And you know, I think for the next 2 years we should be okay, because we're gonna have premieres and conventions and stuff like that. But I think eventually there will come a point that it'll probably be a very sad thing to kind of have this all come to an end.
Elizabeth?
I think I'll miss the weird normalcy of getting up at 4 in the morning every day. And I know it sounds crazy because I was probably, you know, not loving it in the moment, but I do love that experience of going to set and, you know, going to Crafty and getting the rice crackers and the jalapeno jack cheese, and, you know, but more than that, I think, because I know I'm going to see these actors a gazillion times, I'm going to miss Jean Black. We had this amazing makeup artist. I'm going to miss Bill Condon and Guillermo, the DP, who made me laugh constantly. You know, we got to work with such amazing people, and I think that what you realize as you go along in this business more and more and more is that you don't get to have these kinds of experiences all the time. They are so rare, and when you work with a great director, you are so lucky. So I will miss that experience.
I think a lot of what I'm gonna miss is sort of the simplicity of being away from home with a group of people that wind up sustaining you in some way, in many, many different ways. And you just spend so much time with each other that you get really close, and there's not that much outside world stuff coming in, and that was just something very peaceful. It sounds very ironic saying it now, but I really appreciated that. It made me appreciate the people that were there and that we got to work with. And I think the way you keep in touch is you just try to prioritize it and, you know, be accountable and stay in LA.
God, these things, when there's loads of people online, it becomes impossible to answer the question.
So now they're also
every significant point.
Everyone's pretty cool, this and that, you know.
Yeah. Everyone's really cool, had a really great time, and eventually there comes a point where I say, no more! That's it. After the last premiere, that is it.
Alright, how about we get to a question?
I just want to say congratulations to everybody.